Fresh 58 trafficked Nigerians rescued in Ghana. Presidency will betrayed words over planned hardship protest. Kaduna drivers commend federal government over CNG initiatives, say move will slash fares. And on the international scene, 6.2 magnitude earthquake strikes Guatemala. Very good morning and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. The federal government said it has rescued additional 58 girls who were trafficked to Ghana. The rescue was made public by the Director of Media, Public Relations and Protocols for the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abdurrahman Balogun. Speaking in a statement issued on Saturday, Balogun disclosed that the latest effort brings the number of rescued persons over the past few months to 105. Balogun further provided a breakdown of the states of those rescued, revealing that 47 are from Kano, 5 from Katsina, 2 from Jigawa and 4 from Kaduna. He said the rescued women and children are on their way back to Nigeria, where they will be properly profiled and counseled by NAPTIP, reunited with their families and rehabilitated by their various state governments. Apart from the newly rescued ones, 11 more girls earlier rescued have also been repatriated back to Nigeria. And the police in Taraba have confirmed the arrest of a woman and her brother for allegedly throwing a 13-year-old girl, Bridget Samuel, into boiling water. Bridget, according to Trust TV News crew, who visited her at the Federal Medical Center, Jalingo, where she is receiving treatment for burns, reports that she was alleged to have stolen 5,000 naira. Here's the report. Bridget Samuel, a 13-year-old girl, left her father's house in Malam Lakwari village of Yoro local government to stay with her uncle, who had agreed to enroll her in school while she lived with him at a nearby village. 1 month into Bridget's stay, her uncle's wife sent her on an errand to a neighbor who later claimed she stole 5,000 from the neighbor's house. The angry neighbor and her brother, despite Bridget's insistence on being innocent, reportedly grabbed her, tied her hands and put them in boiling water.
One of my uncles picked me from my father's village to his village and promised to enroll me in school. One day, his wife sent me to a neighbor's house, and when I got there, I met a boy lying in front of the house. He told us that there was nobody in the house and we turned back. Later in the evening, the woman came to our house saying that I stole her money. I told her I did not, but she insisted I did. So she grabbed me, tied my 2 hands and put them into boiling water that she mixed with sand and pepper.
Bridget's father later reported the case to the police after his brother, who took Bridget in, failed to show up to explain what transpired.
One of my wife's brother came to my house 1 month ago when I was not around and asked my wife to release our daughter to go live with him. I refused from the beginning, but my wife insisted, so I agreed on the ground that she was going to enroll in school. Since she was taken, I did not hear anything until one of my brothers met her on her way to our village and took her to Fufule area of Yoro, where he took her to some of our relatives there.
The Taraba State Police Commissioner David Iloyalomun confirmed the incident, adding that the accused are in custody.
Domestic violence is a crime, and we should not continue to use our strength and subjugate and subdue others and terrorize others, particularly those who look up to us and depend on us for survival. A 13-year-old girl under the custody of the guardian is being treated this way. I'll urge you to go to the hospital because she is still undergoing treatment, to go and interview her in the hospital, because we are not sure whether those hands will still be useful for her in her lifetime any longer. But the doctors are actually working around the clock to see that she is restored to normalcy.
When Trust TV visited the hospital, Bridget was seen to be recovering from her burns. The Benue State High Court in Makurdi has awarded 800 million naira against the Nigerian Army and 10 others for the murder of Sixtus Tefa Akure, the senior inspector of taxes with the Benue State Board of Internal Revenue Service. Akure was found dead by the roadside near Ape Aku Estate in North Bank, Makurdi, after being abducted by men of the Nigerian Army on January 15, 2022. A coroner's inquest held on March 19, 2022 found the Nigerian Army culpable in his death. The lawsuit filed by Desmond Tor Wende on behalf of Akure's family named the Nigerian Army Council, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Commanding Officer of 72 Special Forces, the then Adjutant, Captain Osita Obe, and 5 soldiers as defendants. Justice Theresa Shija dismissed the preliminary objection raised by the defendants and ruled in favor of Akure's wife, Catherine Akure. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army has called on Nigerians to support security agencies with relevant intelligence that will enhance its counter-insurgency operations in the northeast. The General Officer commanding 7th Division, Operation Hatin Kai, Abubakar Haruna, stated this at a one-day counter-improvised explosive device awareness seminar in Maiduguri's Memalari cantonment. General Haruna said the seminar aims to reawaken the security consciousness of affected communities and address threats posed by IEDs, which remains the primary weapon used by terrorists. He stressed that it will deny the insurgents freedom of action on soft targets. The awareness campaign also aims to enhance the security landscape in the northeast and build trust in communities against the region's adversities.
The counter-improvised explosive device awareness seminar is designed to place significant emphasis on addressing the threat posed by improvised explosive devices, which remain a primary weapon employed by the insurgents. Today's seminar is designed to equip you with the necessary knowledge essential for effective identification of improvised explosive devices, making materials, and the need to confiscate as well as prevent their proliferation to terrorist enclaves.
On the presidency and 2023 Labour Party presidential candidates, Peter Obi, have traded words over a planned End Bad Governance protest. The protest against economic hardship, which is gaining traction on social media, has been scheduled to be held across all states of the Federation, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in August. Prices of food and basic commodities have gone through the roof in the last months as Nigerians battle one of the country's worst inflation and economic crisis sparked by the government's twin policies of petrol subsidy removal and unification of forex windows. The federal government, through the National Orientation Agency and the Nigeria Police Force, as well as the House of Representatives, have warned against the planned demonstration. Presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga on Saturday accused the Labour Party and Obi of being the masterminds of the protest aimed at drawing the attention of President Bola Tinubu to the current economic situation in the country. He warned that the protest could turn out like the EndSARS demonstration by Youth Against Police Brutality, which turned destructive after it was hijacked by unscrupulous elements in 2020. In a statement, a spokesman for the Labour Party, Obiora Ifo, denied Onanuga's claim. Ifo said that there is no truth in that and the tweet is just the author's figment of his imagination. The statement said Labour Party is not a member and is not responsible for the protest, and it also added that it has on several occasions asked its followers to follow peace at all times. The LP spokesman said peaceful protests all over the world are initiated and executed by the people and not by the opposition. And economic experts in the country have blamed the rising hunger in the land on food inflation, which has significantly raised the cost of food items in the country. Speaking to Trust TV on the sidelines of the latest figures on inflation and the attendant impact on daily living, they also said the situation has been exacerbated by the fact that citizens' income level have not correspondingly increased, leading to a substantial drop in real income. Take a look.
According to experts, the hunger on the land will continue to rise as food inflation, which currently stands at 40.8%, continues to increase. They say this level of inflation is unprecedented and can only be addressed if the federal government identifies and tackles the factor driving food prices up.
The first major issue is the issue of insecurity that is affecting the supply of food. Because most of our farmers are having challenges going to the farm, engaging in farming activities, and so on and so forth. That has significantly affected food output or food supply. It is a major problem that has contributed to this food crisis that we're experiencing. The second major issue is the cost of transportation. Moving the food products from the farms to the cities is also has become extremely very, very costly.
Nigerians on the Strait of Lagos are urging the federal government to subsidize agricultural inputs for farmers and also address the issue of insecurity which is affecting the agricultural sector.
Should allow food to enter. People will go and buy. If rice is selling like 30, 20,000, people will buy. Why are they selling 80, 100? They are not putting their citizens into consideration.
So whatever the government is saying is not corresponding with what the reality on ground. And what I think they can do is to be a supervisor in every level that can monitor what they are doing.
There are so many things that government can do. One of which is to subsidize agricultural materials that the farmers are using. The cost of those things that they use in planting, they are very much costly for the farmers.
On the part of Nigerians, experts say citizens can only help address the situation by engaging more in food production. These, they say, will help as the government is making efforts to reduce food imports, especially rice, by focusing more on increasing domestic production, as many rice mills are operating in less than 30% capacity due to lack of resources.
Those who have opportunity to plant one or two things, they should also plant. Because you have some of our citizens that have, a wide expanse of land at their disposal. It could be large compounds, it could be, those opportunities exist.
For now, citizens are urging the federal government to open the borders and allow more imported food into the country to make up for the present shortage.
And reactions have continued to trail the recent verdict of the Supreme Court granting financial autonomy to local governments in Nigeria. According to some residents of Bauchi State, the local government is the only hope for the common man in terms of growth and development, hence the need for autonomy that guarantees sustainable growth at the rural level. Trust TV's Adamu Imam brings details.
The landmark judgment has continued to generate reactions across the length and breadth of Nigeria, following its implication on political landscape.
Local government being the most closest to the common man, we look forward to having better services, better health services, better security network, and development for it. And we can collect the immediate need of the people at the cost. So it's a step in the right direction. We look forward to having better representation, better services, better security at the council.
State electoral commissions are on board. This issue of financial autonomy is just it will just be in the book. It will not hold any water. But when federal government hear the people's agitation to give the National Independent Electoral Commission the mandate to be conducting local government elections, that is where the local government will be autonomous.
We must look the other way. That is administrative autonomy of the local governments. When you granted financial autonomy to local government and they don't have administrative autonomy, there is an issue there.
Agrimumini Chiroma is a Bauchi-based legal practitioner. He says what is left for the state governors to accept the verdict and allow local governments to function optimally.
Demand that the government should look forward on the issue of disbursement and the total control of the money given to the local authorities. But as far as legal is concerned, the judgment of the Supreme Court is absolute. Nigeria being a rule of law country, in any state where rule of law is in existence, you cannot take these three principles: fundamental human rights, separation of power, and the legislature. So this issue of separation of power was recognized in our constitution, and Nigeria is a country that observes rule of law. So the governors cannot do any other thing rather than to accept fate and allow the judgment of the court.
Meanwhile, as a follow-up to the verdict, a senator from Niger State, Sani Musa, has presented a bill that will allow local government elections to be conducted by an independent body and not the state governments as it is currently done. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Akwa Ibom State Command, has arrested 9 suspected smugglers in connection with illegal dealings in petroleum products and impounded 3 trucks conveying 135,000 liters of the products in Akwa Ibom State. The State Commandant of NSCDC, Eluyemi Eluwadi, disclosed this while briefing journalists on Saturday at the command headquarters in Uyo. Eluwadi said the suspects were arrested by the anti-vandal unit of the command on July 14 along the Ikot-Abasi-Port Harcourt Expressway. He said the trucks were halted for a routine inspection of documents by NSCDC personnel who insisted on citing relevant papers including a license to buy, sell and convey petroleum products as stipulated in the Petroleum Industry Act. According to him, the inability of the suspects to produce complete relevant documents led to their arrest and their trucks impounded for illegal dealing in petroleum products, an offense punishable by Section 17 of the Miscellaneous Offences Act. All the suspects, he added, would be charged in court as soon as investigations are completed. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Kaduna drivers commend federal government over CNG initiative, say move will slash fares. This and other stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news update on Trust Television. Now recap of the top stories again. Fresh 58 trafficked Nigerians rescued in Ghana. Presidency will trade words over planned hardship protest. And to more stories now, commercial drivers in Kaduna say the federal government's efforts to convert vehicles into compressed natural gas use will improve the transport system in the country and make fares more affordable for the citizens. The leaders of the drivers during a rally in Kaduna say making the conversion kits available and affordable to commercial drivers will encourage them to convert their vehicles within a short time. Bello Musa completes the report.
The removal of subsidy by the present government on fuel led to a surge in the price of petroleum motor spirit in the country. This made the price of other goods and services to surge. The transport sector was not exempted, as fares also increased due to the adjustment in the pump price. The introduction of the compressed natural gas by the government was aimed at alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians caused by the removal of subsidy. However, commercial drivers in Kaduna say the conversion will ease their operation.
Because the initiative is to make sure that the cost of commercial vehicles come down to the barest minimum. And if the conversions works well, automatically the price of vehicle will come down, because from here to Abuja you can buy a fuel worth 40,000, 45,000, depends on how the vehicle is.
The surge in the transport fare has created a ripple effect on Nigerians, with citizens finding it difficult to make ends meet. According to the federal government, the aim of the CNG is to make transport fare affordable for all.
The idea is to drive down the cost of commercial transportation. How do you do that? The way we're picking now is by converting the vehicles of the road transport unions. If we make their running costs cheaper, the idea is for them to translate these savings onto the end user by making the transportation costs cheaper.
Although the federal government has commenced moves to make the conversion kits available for commercial motorists, the question many are asking is whether the conversion kits will be affordable for other Nigerians. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And in business, Nigeria Foreign Exchange Reserve has increased to $35.93 billion as of July 18, despite predictions of a slump. This represents a gain of $160 million from the previous day's figure of $35.77 billion. The country's foreign exchange reserves had been steadily increasing over the past 2 weeks, with a cumulative gain of over $1.2 billion. Experts noted that this positive trend was a welcome development for the Nigerian economy, which had faced challenges in recent times due to declining oil prices and other external factors. Financial experts have attributed the increase in FX reserve to several factors, including improved oil prices, increased diaspora remittances, and foreign investment inflows. And away from Nigeria, a magnitude 6.2 earthquake occurred in Jalapa department at 8:53 on July 20th. The epicenter was about 9 kilometers, that's 6 miles southeast of the city of Jalapa. The tremor occurred at a depth of about 261 kilometers, and moderate shaking was probably felt throughout parts of Jalapa and the Jutiapa departments. There have been no initial reports of damage or casualties. Reports said it will take several hours for authorities to conduct comprehensive damage assessments, especially in remote areas. Aftershocks are likely over the coming days. Officials may temporarily shut down transportation infrastructure in the tremor zone to check for damage. Minor disruptions could occur during shutdowns, but service will likely resume quickly if no damage is found. Utility outages are possible, particularly near the earthquake's epicenter. And that wraps up the news update at this hour. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sakir Ibrahim. Join us again.